graduation is student debt impacting career choices. So my name's Haley.
My name's Zach.
I'm Jaden.
That's it. James.
So I want to start off with a question. So please raise your hand if salary will be one of the biggest factors when choosing a career after graduation. Okay, that's what I kind of figured. But I'm asking this question because it kind of ties along with our survey, and this was just an example of a question we did kind of use in our survey. So I'll kind of let the rest explain it.
So starting off, 70% of college student or seniors expect student debt, and that will influence their career choices, whether it's starting college or getting to the end of it, choosing majors, choosing jobs, all the above. That impacts career choices. It also impacts academic decisions, as I said, and puts a lot of financial stress on you when you are choosing a job or choosing a field to go to. What we'll cover how student loans influences career path and job decisions, the relationship between debt and financial anxiety and stress, and then how debt affects academic choices and graduate school plans.
Okay, so just a little bit about our background. Student loan debt has become a major financial challenge for college students and graduates over the US. So student debt has reached over $1.8 trillion. So as the cost of higher education continues to rise, more students rely on borrowing to complete their degrees. So this means many young adults enter the workforce carrying significant financial obligations and must begin thinking about loan repayment as they're trying to establish themselves in a career. So understanding how debt affects both career decisions making and financial well-being is important because these early career choices could shape long-term professional satisfaction, financial stability, and economic mobility. So studying these patterns helps provide insight on how financial pressures impact young adults and as they begin their professional lives. So continuing on, our research question is, how does student loan debt influence students' career choices after graduation? So kind of just as I said before, student loan debt became a major financial challenge for many college students. So being able to study the relationship between career choices and financial stress helps to determine how financial obligations affect both decisions and overall financial well-being.
Okay, so moving on to the hypothesis, we have two of them. So first, we think that students with higher loan balances tend to choose higher paying careers. The pressure of repayment pushes them towards financial security, even if it means stepping away from passion-driven paths. We're testing this by comparing career choices across different debt levels to see if salary becomes the main driver. On to our second hypothesis, it focuses more on a psychological impact. We expect that feeling the need for higher future incomes increases financial anxiety. Many students worry about repayment, job stability, and becoming financially independent before they even graduate. We measure this through the Likert scale questions and compare anxiety levels across different debt brackets.
What we know about student debt, research shows, like Haley said, that U.S. debt and student loans has exceeded 1.8 trillion, which is one of the highest debts in America in general. Because of this, many college graduates enter the workforce already carrying student loan debt, and obviously they're going to go into a job that hopes repays their loan debt as fast as possible. Studies also show that student loans can influence types of careers that students pursue, like I said, and then finally the responsibility of paying student loans can create financial stress and anxiety for many graduates, and makes concerns about long-term payments and financial stability can affect both their career decisions and their overall well-being.
So our purpose is basically to see how student loan debt influences career choices after graduation. And we want to see if higher debt pushes students towards higher paying jobs, and if needing a higher income increases financial stress. So our goal is to understand if debt affects both career decisions and students.
Now, moving on to our target population, the key characteristics here is undergraduate students nearing graduation or graduates within the last 1 to 5 years, individuals with varying levels of student loan debt, or students entering the workforce and making initial career decisions. And why this population is appropriate, student loan repayment typically begins shortly after graduation, directly influencing career decisions. This group is actively choosing between higher paying careers and passion driven careers. Differences in debt levels allow researchers to examine how financial pressures affects career priorities.
Okay, so moving on how we collected the data. So first we used an online Qualtrics survey for students and recent graduates ages 20-25. We might even go to ages 18 to 25 to get a wider research range. This clearly defines who we're studying during this transition into the workforce. We shared the survey through departments, student organizations, university emails, and social groups. This helped us reach a wide mix of majors, backgrounds, and debt levels. The survey includes yes/no items, Likert scale questions, multiple choice options, and short answer prompts. This gave us both measurable data and personal insight with those short answer questions. We aim for 300 responses to get strong, reliable patterns. A larger sample helps us compare different groups more confidently. And then lastly, we kept the survey anonymous to encourage honest answers about debt and financial stress. Anonymity was important because the questions were pretty financially sensitive.
So we asked 20 questions in our survey. Usually takes around 10 to 15 minutes. If you're flying through it, could take less time. First, we asked about student loan debt and financial stress, what your expected amount of debt is at graduation, and then the level of anxiety that comes from that debt. And then career decisions. We asked questions how important salary is when choosing a career and whether student loans will affect that career. And then academic choices. If loans influence the choice of major, you may have a major in mind in high school, but then it could be too much money. You want to go into a different route, or even when you're in college, go into a different route. And then it will impact of debt on graduate school plans as well. So if you are in a major that needs graduate school, you may not have the money to do so. You may switch your major then too.
Okay, so moving on to how will we analyze the data. So we start by comparing groups, high versus low debt, different majors, and students versus graduates. This shows us how debt impacts different types of students. Then we will look for connections between higher debt and choosing higher paying careers. This directly tests our first hypothesis. Next, we'll analyze the Likert scale items to spot patterns in financial anxiety. These scores help us see how worried students are about repayment and income. Then we'll code the short answer responses to find common themes and personal stories. This helps us explain the numbers and adds context to all our data. And then finally, we look at the overall patterns to see whether debt is shaping both career choices and financial stress. This ties together the behavioral and psychological sides of the study.
What we expect to find in the results is that higher debt leads to greater financial stress in the long run. Generally, you are going to be more stressful when you own money to anyone, especially student loans. And then students with larger loans prioritize higher paying jobs and over passion driven careers. So they'll go to places where at the end of the day, they may go home and say, I don't like this job. It's stressing me out over something that they're gonna go home smiling about every day. We also expect that debt influences academic and career decisions, including choice of major and plans for graduate school. And then financial anxiety varies by level, major, and student background. So if you are in a career that has a lot of money, but you still love it, obviously that's gonna be something else that's happening. And then Results may highlight subgroup differences, guiding targeted support from universities and policymakers.
So on to the conclusion of this is the student loan debt affects more than just graduate finances, Higher debt levels often push students to prioritize salary and financial stability over personal interests. And the pressure to repay loans can limit career flexibility and risk taking. And lastly, financial stress from debt can significantly shape career paths and overall well-being.
I think we actually skipped this one. Yep. So we're just gonna, we'll end on mine, but so why this study matters. So many students feel pressure to choose salary-focused careers rather than their passion-driven fields, as we've said before. So that anxiety related to debt can affect mental well-being and confidence when entering the workforce. So just being able to understand these effects can help universities improve counseling and financial education by giving students better guidance on managing debt, planning salaries, and just making informed decisions about careers.